Mark was just standing in the shower when suddenly the lights went off. "Dude, I can't see!" He called as perplexed as alarmed. "Oh, so sorry, Mark," Josh called back, turning the light back on again. "I forgot you were there." The apologetic explanation followed. Mark wasn't angry. He had been more startled by the unforeseen gesture. A week had passed in which Josh had read through the internet and was now starting on Mark's many books. In addition to that, the Seraphim was taking care of the man's neglected household. Mark couldn't tell how long things would remain like this, but he had grown very fond of his new company. Josh was a good listener. He was also grateful when Mark helped to make sense of his confusing emotions the angel shouldn't have. "Mark," he heard his friend's distressed mutter from the kitchen when he had put on his clothes. "Yeah?" "The fridge. It's growing empty." "Well," Mark started, "I've got to buy some stuff then." When the man put on some clothes and went to the door, he noticed his friend's gaze on his back. He turned around with a questioning expression. "I wondered if you would mind," Josh started hesitantly. "Can I come with you?" "Of course," Mark grinned to encourage the angel. "But what about your wings?" He motioned at the still not fully healed 3 wings hanging downwards. With a few winces and the sound of cracking bones, Josh forced his wings into hiding. "All done," he announced with pride. "That sounded painful," Mark commented, but his friend gave him a dismissive wave. He gave Josh some pants he could wear outside before they headed out. On their way to the shopping mall, they passed by Edinburgh's castle. Before Mark could react, Josh opened 4 more eyes on his brow and cheeks once again. "It looks even grander here than in pictures," he marveled. As quickly as he could, Mark rushed to force his friend's eyes shut with his own hands. "Don't do that on the street, mate," he uttered, trying to keep the fear out of his voice. When 2 women passed, giving him a strange look, Mark only laughed awkwardly. "It just happened," Josh apologized. "But I don't think people will care. They are mostly invested in phones." "You have read about E.T., haven't you? I'm sure you don't want to end up like that poor sort." "I'm not an alien." "I'm sure you look like one to atheists." Fair point. The shopping mall wasn't especially busy since it was an early weekday. Mark hadn't paid attention to the unusual quiet angel behind him as he got the necessary means to keep his body running. That had been a mistake. Right before reaching the cashier, the man turned to see a heap of vegetables, fruits, meat, yogurt. He lost it there. "What are you doing? I don't need all that extra stuff." A small eye opened on the back of Josh's left hand. "I read that the human body needs nutrients, proteins, and vitamins to reach the longest possible lifespan and to stay healthy. I don't have time to cook, and by the way, the world already has enough of my lifespan." Josh obviously ignored the last statement, for he kept arguing. "But I can cook, and I have to pay for it. You have more than enough money in your bank account." Mark let out an annoyed sigh at the fact that his friend had even managed to hack his bank account to take a peek. He wasn't going to win this. Very well. "Hi," the woman at the checkout greeted them. "Be not afraid," Josh answered. The woman only smiled. "Your friend isn't quite awake yet, it seems," she said to Mark. "I don't sleep," the angel remarked. The quick statement was greeted by another well-meant smile. "It's hi," Mark informed his friend after they had left with their goods. "You say hi when greeting people." "Hi, be not afraid." "No, drop the be not afraid." "But they will be terrified otherwise," Josh countered, seemingly worried. "They are fine," the man encouraged the angel. "You look human. Just say hi like a normal person." Okay. When they passed a shop selling whiskey, Mark stopped a moment to think. He needed some new stuff, but he was responsible enough to not show his friend such behavior as if it was a normal thing to do. Josh, would you mind waiting for me here? I just need to get some stuff. No, not at all, the angel answered, enjoying the sun. The man hadn't needed much more than 3 minutes, and yet his friend was gone when he returned. Josh? Afraid the seraphim might get lost, Mark searched the nearby streets and alleys. You got a problem, weirdo? The voice of the kind of people Mark usually avoided sounded from an alley nearby. It was followed by the noise of a fist meeting a nose, and then several kicks. Josh! Mark yelled while running. A group of high school students stood around a huddled form, each one of them dealing kick after kick, whilst one of them held his bleeding nose. Get away from him! Mark interrupted the group. Is he your girlfriend? One of them taunted with a sneer. Mark didn't hesitate when anger urged him to act, and dealt a few punches himself to the ignorant boys who obviously were still green. Mark usually wasn't violent, but he knew abuse and was a loyal friend. When one received a fist into the stomach and another a foot into the crotch, the group decided to leave them alone. Josh? Mark tried to reach the angel, who slowly peeked through his fingers, still lying in the gutter. New blood was staining the t-shirt where a wound had reopened, and his one eye had turned slightly blue after he must have been assaulted. Mark shouldn't have left him alone. Be not afraid, Mark. I followed a rat and got lost. Can you forgive me? Urging his friend to get back to his feet, the man took him by the arm. There's nothing to forgive from my side. Let's get you home. The first thing Mark did was to send his friends into the shower whilst he squeezed all the groceries into the fridge. Josh still made the impression of trembling when he sat on his chair in the kitchen. How are you feeling? Mark asked carefully. Strange? Small? I'm confused. When that one child hit me, I felt something hot rise inside of me. I feel guilty about my actions, and I feel sad about theirs. The seraphim fell silent when the words stopped coming. Don't feel guilty. They assaulted you. Mark spoke from opposite the table, holding eye contact. You just hit them, Josh uttered with his eyes still struggling to shine. Sometimes you just have to defend yourself. Mark avoided his eyes. I wanted to let them feel my anger, you see. Your scars, Josh started again. Did they come from other people too? No, you see. Mark struggled to find the right words while his hand reached for where the scars were hidden by the fabric of his shirt. He was uncomfortable speaking about them. Yet with Josh, he somehow had gotten the notion that it was safe to open up. Emotions are complicated. Sometimes I just need to counter the pain inside with the one outside. And sometimes I just want to punish myself. Why do you feel guilty? Mark sighed while running a hand over his face and then got up. It's complicated, he explained, opening a bottle. He poured himself a drink before getting back to his friend. Does it still hurt? Comes and goes. It hurt more to see you on the ground today. The seraphim observed Mark closely as he emptied his glass. You are defiling your body, he only muttered while meaning with an unspoken apology in his eyes. Doesn't need me to defile my body, the man grinned with cynicism. The world's already taking care of that. After a moment he added, Are you going to pray Christian morals to me now? No, Josh shook his head with honest seriousness. I accept you. The simple sentence warmed Mark's heart more than anything had ever before. He grinned again, but warmer this time. and he started to wonder if his wish had worked after all, even if he felt stupid about those superstitions.